a friend of the program. Arcade and the Golden Travel Guide, a second book in the middle school book series, The Coin Slot Chronicles, former National Football League running back, 7 seasons with the Jaguars, Raiders, and Giants. Good to see you, Rashad Jennings, once again.
Always a pleasure to be on the show.
Do you sometimes dream that you're playing? Do you dream like you're running? I know, seriously, the dream that you're playing, that you're running, you're in the middle of a huddle, you're in the middle of a series? Because I sometimes dream like I'm in the middle of a show. I'm wondering if you do this, if you have the same thing. No?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not Xing it out as a possibility that may happen, but not yet.
So you're still okay. Are you still hoping to play in the NFL, or you think you're done with that?
I'm done. I'm done. I've closed that book. I closed the chapter.
Okay.
Completely moved on with other endeavors and things that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Okay,
so.
including, we just saw some great stuff from your foundation, some youth camps that you're doing, this book. Of the 3 teams that you played for, Jags, Raiders, and Giants, who do you have the closest ties with right now?
Definitely the Giants.
Definitely
the Giants. Retiring as a Giant, I still go back and do a lot of stuff with them now. I actually was just in New York last week, and I got a chance to go by the facility, catch up with everybody, see the familiar faces and smiles on everybody's face. So it was good. But yeah, I'm always going to be affiliated with the Giants, and I always go back to Jacksonville. It's the first team that believed in me, that gave me a chance. And the Raiders, I still got a lot of respect for Raider Nation and the fans.
And with the Giants, so how is this going to play out with Eli? I mean, the game started off terrific. They got the 7-0 lead. Then the Cowboys just steamrolled all over them to the point where Pat Shurmur gave Daniel Jones a little bit of a feet wetting experience, right?
Yeah.
Do we read into that at all? Because we're reading into every maneuver that he might be doing or saying about with Daniel Jones and Eli's endgame of his career. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? It's an interesting situation. I think we all – I kind of looked at it like Eli was going to have the more comfortable year than the latter. And the reason why is because there's no more ghost in the room. Where what I mean by that is there's always been this ghost, right? Who's going to replace Eli? When is he going to retire? When is his replacement coming? And to be quite honest, at least my time there in the last couple of years watching away from the game, I don't think Eli has seen a player come inside that building that's capable of being the starter. And so it's always his ghost. Who is it going to be? Where is it coming from, right? It's preparing for a punch. You don't know where it's coming. And here we finally have him. Daniel Jones.
The fact that he's physically present and we know the identity of him makes it easier for Eli?
Yeah, I think because there's no more ghost. You actually get to fill it in with a person. And so it's like, all right, let me get back to just football. Obviously, that wasn't the outcome. I don't think anybody in the organization had hoped out for. Give credit where credit is due. Cowboys played lights out. They played very well. John's going to be scrappy this year. I think they got some pieces they want to fill in, but I think they got enough weapons to be competitive and scrap and find plenty of wins throughout the season. It's not going to be easy, but I think they got the leadership to do so. And we know that Daniel eventually will be the starter.
When do you think?
It's just a matter of when.
Do you think it will be this year?
I don't know, man. It's odd because it's like it's you're looking at it and sometimes you feel like Eli is almost the future starting backup quarterback. That he's the backup quarterback that's starting because of the writing on the wall. But I think Eli can play this whole entire season well at a high level. But anytime they get a chance when the game was out of reach.
It was.
And so they want to get Daniel comfortable, not preseason. When the game's on the line, it's a different smell and a different aura inside of a regular season.
Yeah, because this is totally different. Mahomes sat his entire first year up until week 17. The Chiefs had already clinched. Alex Smith was undeniably going to be their quarterback going into the postseason. And they gave Mahomes a start in Denver. So maybe just getting Jones out there in Dallas, you can look around. He's going to have to go there at some point in his career and hopefully for the Giants dominate. Maybe that's why they did it. I just don't envision a scenario where – how about this way? I envision a scenario where the entire season becomes like the fourth quarter. It's over. Let's just get him out there.
Yeah.
And then Eli's just going to have an earbud in his ear for the last 6 games of the season. And I just don't think – I don't know if the Giants are just going to have to make a decision whether that end game is acceptable for Eli enough for the organization to basically look at him and say this is the way it has to be.
Yeah. And you're right. They got to make a decision at some point. And, my situation coming from being in Jacksonville for 4 years and watching Blaine Gabbert come in and be the backup during training camp behind David Garrard, and everybody saying we have to play Blaine because he was a first-round draft pick. They try to play him too early, and we see, the results. He didn't get a chance to flourish like he probably could have had he had an opportunity to be groomed. He was in there taking vicious shots, and a lot was on his shoulder. So I like that they're trying to groom Daniel Jones into a futuristic position.
Rashad Jennings here, former NFL, 7 years in the NFL, former NFL running back, and now best-selling author, philanthropist, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think's going on in the Patriots locker room right now? What do you think's happening? Look, they've got a Super Bowl champ. They are the Super Bowl champs. They've got the trophy in the case, but they've also got a coach that do their job coach that week to week trying to focus them snap to snap. And in strolls Antonio Brown with all of this. What do you think is happening in that locker room right
That's
now?
crazy. It's a circus going on right now. But inside the locker room with Antonio Brown, especially with the most recent allegations, you have people, this is just the truth of the matter. You have people that you create a judgment about. Not judging, but you have a judgment about.
Right.
An inkling, an instinct. And so when you hear these type of allegations, some people in the locker room may hear it and say, there's no way. Some may say, you know what, there might be some truth to that. Some may say, yeah, he did it. I'm going to see if he get away with it. All of his allegations. But inside that locker room, depending on how Antonio responds to it, is going to dictate the energy of the locker room. If he's walking around, like nothing matters. If he's walking around like, I nobody care what anybody's thinking, anybody's saying, like if he's not being sensitive to the severity of this situation, it can make people turn their back on him and not want to support him. And when you don't want to support your teammates, it becomes very cancerous inside of a locker room, no matter how good the organization
But this
is.
locker, I know you were never inside a Bill Belichick locker room as a player. It everybody, people I work with, people I've interviewed, it's just a different community.
And I believe that.
But something like this, do you think could metastasize inside of a locker room like that?
It could insert. It could be a tick, for sure, having its way over time if it's not addressed. And I do get the mentality of, at the end of the day, you have to do your job.
That's what they say there.
At the end of the day, you have to. And I get that, and I'm on board for that. But again, we're not talking about, somebody was just being late to practice. So, do your job. This is something that where you have adults in there. You have fathers in there. You have people that have sisters. You have people that have loving mothers. Like, this is a situation where you look, and it's coupled with all the other antics that's happened consecutively within the last year with one person that makes you say something is off. Something was skipped. Somebody was pushing him through and kept it silent for a very long time. And who was able to kind of not blow the whistle the whole entire time. That's what people start to build up these ideas of, and you have to address it. And whether the coach addresses it in the media, whether the player says it in the media,
that hasn't happened. That won't happen. That didn't happen earlier today.
But you can bet your bottom dollar, the players, we gonna talk about it in the locker room. We gonna be sitting around the lunchroom like, yo, we're sitting in the lunchroom. This is how it works.
Please.
We sit in the lunchroom. We're eating. There's TVs. We're watching the TV. They may be watching this. And they might be saying, you know what, Rashad on point. Because I want to know, like, for that moment, you're not thinking about the team. You're not thinking about practice. You're not thinking about how to get an advancement on your opponent. And so bit by bit, it can trickle. But I think they do have great leadership No doubt about that. That we'll be able to overcome this situation. But again, if we don't address this sensitivity of it, it could become an issue, and fans will start to bark.
Rashad Jennings here on the show. And then just one other item that seems to be and this is on the opposite end of the spectrum of level of importance, but so many people are talking about the wristwatch on Odell Beckham's arm. You're laughing already.
Hey, OBJ. That's my guy, man.
I know.
You gotta love him. Listen, I mean, he's wearing a watch. I think Odell has enough business wherewithal to make sure if he does wear a watch, I don't think this is just me. I haven't talked to him about this, but I don't think he's going to just wear a watch just because he likes it that much. I think somebody's going to pay his fine to get that brand out because that was plastered everywhere.
Well,
Great
I mean,
marketing.
The watch cost. Did we find out at the actual retail price?
It was about $190.
Use the Price is Right phrase, $190,000.
Yeah.
So
you've seen this thing, right?
All they got, bling bling. All they have to do is sell one of those watches to somebody, right? Let's just say some Russian oligarch wants that wristwatch, and for $190,000 comes in them. How many fines is that? Do we know how much money he has been fined yet for the?
I don't think he's been fined
it's
at
coming.
all yet.
Oh, it's coming.
It's
coming.
Think about it from.
Or is this be the warning sign?
Yeah, this might be the warning. The league was going to talk to him.
And he's already said he'll wear it again.
Said he'll wear it again.
So, even if the fines get increasingly more expensive, you just add it up. It might be half a season. Just sell one watch. And they've already got millions of dollars in advertising already.
Yeah. I'm not advising to do it, but I get the business of it. If a company's willing to say, hey, we'll pay your fine, wear this, and we'll pay you an additional X, Y, and Z. It's just like them paying you to post something on Instagram. They're trying to get visibility. Players are walking billboards. And the more players become aware of this, the NFL is going to want to strike down with a larger fine because it's like we're getting it, how much power a player has. So Odell is opening the door to a lot. And we'll see if the NFL will strike down on it or will players realize the opportunity and leverage they have of being a celebrity playing one of the most watched sports.
Yeah, one online sports book offered odds on what type of watch Odell will wear in week 2.
Come on.
In case you were wondering.
How much are there odds for a swatch?
Casio is the second betting favorite, 5-1. Richard Mille is a favorite again, -525.
So
Rolex is 12-1. A Breitling 12-1, Omega 16-1.
I don't see the Rolex.
Yeah, I know. The iWatch, yeah.
Where's the iWatch?
Oh, iWatch not on here.
You know why? Because you don't want to break that. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
because you know why?
Too many texts.
No, here's why. Because as a professional football player like Odell Beckham, you don't have time to go to the Genius Bar and sit there. Seriously, sit there for like 2 hours waiting for some genius showing up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I
Have you ever worn anything like that on a field?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had the need to check the time while you're on the field, wondering what time it is?
There's a big scoreboard. I'm just looking at that time. What's it down the distance? Whoever.
It's just
He's fashionable. He's stylish. Odell is a rock star.
that is true. I mean, there's no
That's
denying
what he
that.
is.
But I mean, you have to win football games in order to wear watches like that, right?
I mean, technically, you would want that.
Yes, to go hand in glove, if you will.
Right. But listen, Odell shows out. He performs. He catches the balls that's thrown to him. He practices.
What do you think it's going to mean for him to be back in MetLife Monday night?
Oh, it's gonna be everything.
I mean, it's not against the Giants, but he's back in that building. What do you think?
It's gonna be emotional for him to be in the opposite locker room because obviously there's a home team, away team, and so but he's going to be actually in the same locker room because the Jets are going to be in their locker room, so he's going to be in the Giants locker room.
That's right.
He'll probably go sit at his old locker in that room from the team that cut him, that talked about him. He in the same. It's gonna be live. He might get emotional. He might do something crazy. If he score a touchdown, I'm gonna be tuned in see what this guy do. I know he's going to do something. He might check the time. I don't know, but he's going to do something.
Brockman's already probably laying a prop bet as we speak on this, because that is, I mean, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, this is great.
That the away locker room in MetLife, when it's the Jets, is the Giants' locker room.
Absolutely.
So he will be back in the same room, and that is just only going to conjure up all sorts of emotion, and he will know literally and figuratively what time it is.
Mm-hmm. And he would be on the same sideline, yeah.
I bet he has a big game.
Yeah, you think?
Got a
On
big
Monday
game.
Night Football back in MetLife, you think?
Yeah.
Going out on a limb there.
Put him on your fantasy team if you got him.
All right, before I let you go, Coin Slot Chronicles, Arcade and the Golden Travel Guide. Tell me about the history of this, why you're doing it, and what you get out of these books, sir.
Yeah, this is so rewarding to me. Anybody who knows anything about me, I always try to. I love creating. It's a passion of mine, and I grew up with a reading comprehension deficit. I struggled academically, and for myself to be in a position finally to write books that will inspire kids to read, it means the world to me. I wrote these books, this series, and this is the second book of a 4-book series. I wrote it with the desire to make young males not want to put it down. And it's the neatest thing because I've received so many emails from people, just acknowledging how much their kids are reading. But one email tripped me out the most. It said that they sent their kid to their room for punishment. And usually when they send their kid to the room for punishment, they hear a lot of noise and being loud in there.
Yes.
And they said 30 minutes went by, we didn't hear a peep. So we went in to see what's wrong with him, and he was reading the book.
That's awesome, brother.
And he fell in love with it. And so that's what motivates me. But this kid is unpretentious. He's curious. He questions everything. And he runs across this magical golden token that takes him across the globe, teaching him every life lesson, how to deal with adversity. He gets to go back and travel to the pyramids. It's time, test, travel, and truth is what he gets to learn. And it's fun. It's a fun book. And he also has his beautiful sister. He moves from Virginia to New York, and he doesn't know how to necessarily take on the big city. And you get to watch a gullible child teach you so much.
This is awesome. This is the second one, right?
This is the second one.
Okay, and the third one will be called, and he's giving me the exclusive, Arcade and the Golden Richard Mille Watch. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
and the Slot Receiver Chronicles.
The slot receiver. And I'm on my book tour now, and I tell people you go to RashadJennings.com. You can go to ArcadeLivingston.com to figure out how to bring me to your schools. I have a teacher's guide to this book, a teacher's syllabus, so you can implement it in your school. And I will come visit and speak to your kids after they've taking the course.
You're awesome, Rashad Jennings. At Rashad Jennings on Twitter and Instagram, RashadJenningsFoundation.com. Come back. Let's talk later on in the season, okay?
For sure. I'll check my watch.
You got it. You know what time it is. That's Rashad Jennings here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.